Welcome to the Station Bakery. It has been so long since I have done a day in the life video with you all. I have a cake that is due tomorrow, and I still don't have all of the kinks worked out in this project, but we're gonna figure it out today and tomorrow before it's due. I'm gonna try to get this done as quickly as possible because we also have workers that'll be coming in today to fix up our pantry. That's why I have like all of my stuff sitting out here already. So I need to get going. Groceries are on their way. So I'm gonna get started with measuring out my ingredients, which I absolutely hate. That is the worst part to me, but it's something that we gotta do. Let's do this. I'm starting the day by wiping down my countertops to get my ingredients prepped and measured for the day. In this video, I'm going to do a lot of talking. This is going to be a very just raw and real video. I'm going to give you all the behind the scenes of things that I think about in regards to running a home bakery business. Plus, I'm gonna give my opinion on a few things that I see in the baking community and just some real life updates on what's going on in my business as well as in my personal life. So stick around for the video and I hope you enjoy. I'll keep one of these bags for my trash. I like using a trash bag to put my trash in because it keeps me from having to go back and forth touching the actual trash can. And then when I'm done with it, I can just take the bag and toss it out into our larger trash can. Another tip that I want to give you is to take your baking soda out of its original packaging. Baking soda is used to absorb odors. So if you leave it open, those odors that it absorbs will then be going into your cake. And we don't want that, right? No, we don't want that. I haven't done this in so long, but it feels like a long time. Okay, let's work this out. And the workers are now here. Got it. Let me just bring this over here with me. I should have put it up on the screen. I don't want folks to see my recipes. This is confidential, confidential. Okay. Okay. Look. Oh, can you? Look at that cardinal. How cool. We always get lovely birds out here. Hi. It's so pretty. You can't really see it on here.
Yeah, you can't really. It's hard to get a good zoom.
Oh, I love being out here. There's a lot of birds. They love our yard. The early birds are up to catch the worms. It's the early birds. These are the early birds. How cool. Yeah, I love seeing nature. I mean, not all nature. Not all nature. Okay, so really quickly, this is what our... Yes, thank you. Yeah, this is what our pantry looks like. So at first it was closed off right here. This wall was closed off, so now they came in and opened this up so we can actually walk through. Yes, I'll take it all. Okay, hopefully this is all that I'll need. Whew, I'm glad we were able to catch that before, they got going. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I want to talk about something. I've been making a few videos about my day in the life and just how I prepare and bake my cakes and stuff. And people were like, if you're a real business, you should buy in bulk. Real businesses buy in bulk. It'll save you money and save money for your customers. Listen, if I was operating on a large basis, then yes, doing bulk makes 100% sense. But for me, it does not make sense because I don't do a lot of cakes. I don't push out a lot of cakes, a lot of orders. So me buying some things in bulk just wouldn't make sense. The way that my mind is set up, it's also a disadvantage because I'm real quick to throw stuff out if it's been sitting for too long. Even if the expiration date says otherwise, it's just something in my mind and it's like, I can't do it. So if I bought things in bulk, like I just opened up a new thing of oil because I'm not sure about my old oil. That's just how my mind works, and I can't consciously see myself adding things that like I think are questionable. So that's why, I mean, those are a couple of reasons why I don't buy in bulk. And then just for me, the time that it would take for me to travel to the store, to a bulk store, to get the things, and the time that it would take me actually in the store to get the things, it would cost more for my customer than me just buying locally at the regular grocery store. So I don't buy in bulk. It's just not what works for me and my business. But if it works for you and your business, then that's what you should do. Okay? Everybody has to run their business in the way that works for them. And that just doesn't work for me. And it just is what it is, okay? Okay, cool. Okay, and then I guess part 2 of the conversation is people are like, you should weigh out your ingredients because it's more accurate. Yes, weighing is more accurate than scooping because there's so many different inconsistencies that can happen. But for me, but as for me and my business, I just like to do things the way that I like to do them. I created my recipes in such a way that I'm able to just scoop them and go. And they still turn out perfectly every time. Also, just proof that, you can do what you want to do is like my grandmother and all the grandmothers out there and all of like the Southern home chefs, right? Like a lot of the times when you've worked with something for a good amount of time, you understand, like you're able to eyeball it, right? You measure it out with your heart and you're able to eyeball the measurement so you know exactly what's going on, right? And that's just kind of how I do it. And I have yet to have a complaint thus far. So, I mean, that's not to say that I can't have a complaint or something can't go wrong, because, I mean, in anything, things can go wrong, right? But again, I have to do what works best for me and my business. So that's what I'm doing. And I encourage you to do the same. Do what works for you and your business. Oh, and number 3 in that conversation, people are like, oh, you use cake mix? Yeah. Yes. And? And again, do what works best for your business. And this is what works best for my business. I have learned my customers and I know what they want. And this is what they want, which is why I get such rave reviews behind my cakes. It's because I didn't listen to what other bakers said, but I listened to what my customers were saying. And that changed the game for me. Because I first started off with all scratch recipes and I didn't get any return customers. People wouldn't even message me back. It just wasn't what they wanted. It wasn't necessarily that it was bad, because I loved them. They tasted super good to me. It just wasn't what they want. But once I started making the shifts, then I started to retain more customers. I started to get better feedback. And, like now I'm very confident in what I do because I've taken the time to learn and pay attention to the analytics. Moral of the story, guys, is to just do what works for you. And I want to be clear, I'm not bashing anyone or telling you not to do those things. I see so many bakers get stuck in their business because they're trying to run it like so-and-so. It is great to take tips and tricks from other bakers, but you have to know how to apply that to your business to make it work. I've been making so many mini cakes that it's been a while. Okay, I still don't really know what I'm doing. There are no parameters on this cake. So I don't know how I'm gonna design it, how I'm gonna decorate it. The only thing that I know is flavor. It's a vanilla cake with strawberry filling. A classic, Station Bakery classic. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do 8-inch, but I still don't know. Yeah, we're just gonna do an 8-inch cake, and then we're just gonna see what becomes of it. See, not knowing what to do. I'm not, like, I'd rather have parameters to work within than like nothing. The pans that I use, these are 8-inch Fat Daddy-O's pans. I'll try to link them in the video. Basically, majority of my pans are Fat Daddy-O's brand. And yes, I know about cake goop. I was gonna make some, but then I changed my mind. I have some made, but again, like, it just doesn't work with the way that my mind works. And I'm like, I can't use that anymore. It's just been sitting in there. I can't use that. It's just how it is for me. And somebody's gonna be thinking, like, oh, you seem wasteful. Yeah, well, imagine if I bought in bulk. Like, imagine if I bought in bulk, right? Know thyself. Know thyself. So I always say that my least favorite part is measuring out the ingredients and just the whole baking process. But one of my favorite parts is stacking and filling and icing the cakes. Like, that's what I love to do. So I'm like getting excited for that already. Like, in my head, like, I'm like kind of telling myself, I'm like, ooh, maybe we can get to that part today. No, we're not going to do that today. We're gonna stick with the plan, so I'm not like super stressed out trying to get everything done. Today we're just baking, and I'm gonna make my filling and work on some other stuff. I'm curious to know, what do y'all think about this style of video? This is a much longer video. It's more raw and real, just showing like real life of me baking in my home bakery. So I just want to know, like, what do y'all think about this feel of video? To me, it's kind of more like we're just hanging out in the kitchen together, baking together. How I see it is that you can put this up on your TV screen or on your laptop, and you know, we can just kind of vibe out together and bake together. What do y'all think about that? Whoa there. Whoa. Yes. Hi. Hi. You saying mama? Yeah. Let me just say, I am so thankful to be able to be in the place where I am. I'm happy that I can run my business and still be able to be present and around for my kids. There was one person who commented on one of my videos saying, oh, how irresponsible of me, because who's watching my kid, and people just always focus on their business and neglect their kids. Do we not understand that, there are households that have two parents in them? um, we definitely have a two-parent household, and we are extremely blessed and lucky that my husband also gets to work from home. So if you ever have a question about who's watching my kids and, what's going on in the background, know that my husband is very much present every single day, just like I am. So if you see my kids moving around, they're not just free roaming. My husband is watching them when I have certain things to do, and then I watch them when he has certain things to do. And we just tag team like that. So just keep in mind that, everyone's situation isn't the same, and two-parent households do exist. All right, so let me tell y'all about this spatula. I love this spatula. One, just silicone spatulas in general are like a must-have for a cake business, just because they make things just so much easier, like to scrape things off, and yeah, it just makes things easier. But all silicone spatulas are not created equally. So I've had quite a few in my time, and I absolutely love this one. And the reason why I really like this one is because the whole thing is silicone. There are no parts that detach from it or anything like that, which means that, gunk can't get stuck in so say like for instance, you have one and it has like a stick, and then the spatula part is silicone. It slides on and off. And so when you wash it and everything, gunk can get inside of there, and it can just get real nasty real quick. And again, it just messes with my mind. But this one is all silicone, so you can see and know exactly what's going on with it, which I love, and it's easy to clean. Like the grip of it is really nice. I really love this spatula. It came in a kit by Kutek. And it's like, if you're just starting off, one of the easiest things you can do is just buy like one of these cake decorating kits. It literally comes with everything that you need inside of it, including like that metal turntable that I love, scrapers, piping tips, spatula, piping bags, literally everything. And they don't cost much either, which is an added benefit. So sometimes I do weigh things out, as you can see here. Now, I don't do this all the time, but just sometimes I do, right? I feel like I have a pretty good eye of measuring things out. And, I haven't come up with anything that's like too crazy and like disproportionate. But for this specific cake, I did want to try to weigh them out to get them as even as possible. What these measurements were, I don't know. I do not remember what it was. I just made sure that I just kept adding batter to each of them until like they were like of a similar weight. So yes, sometimes I do actually weigh things out. Sometimes I don't. Again, I just do what works and feels in the best interest for me at that time. So, but whether I weigh it out or not, the cakes still come out fire every single time, okay? So what I was doing right there was I was trying to like dig into the middle to like help it to not rise so much, but this is a looser batter, so that didn't really help any. But you'll see when they come out. I'm not gonna spoil it. You'll see when they come out. Just keep this in the back of your mind, okay? Keep it in the back of your mind when they come out. Another question that I have for you is, this oven, this type of oven is very new to me, and it does have a convection setting on there. And I feel like when I first started out, I would hear bakers talking about convection baking. Now, when I went to our good friend Google, it recommended to not use convection baking or the convection setting when baking cakes and things, because it can like mess it up or something. But I want y'all to let me know, do you convection bake? Can I convection bake? Because I feel like I remember people saying that it's better than conventional baking. So let me know all of your tips below. Do you convection bake or do you just do the regular baking? If there's a better way to bake up my cakes, I would absolutely love that, especially since I have that feature on my what's it called, on my oven. I would like to try it out, but I don't want to like ruin everything. So just give me your best tips on convection baking. Is that a thing, or did I just make that whole thing up? While my cakes are baking, I am using this time to clean up my area, wash the dishes, and just get my space prepped because I am going to use this time to start making my filling as well. This cake is going to be vanilla with a homemade strawberry filling. This is like a classic that I have been doing since the start of the Station Bakery, and this combination it just can't be beat. Like it's just so good. It's just so refreshing. Like it's just really good. It's really good. Although like I do switch the recipe every now and then because like I'll start off with the recipe and then like I'll just like kind of adjust it and like tweak it as I go to like my own liking or what I feel like should go in it on that day. Like yo, when I say that like I just kind of do my own thing, like I really mean like I just kind of do my own thing. I'm using this is the Amazon Alexa Echo Show 15 or something like that. And I'm incorporating this into my business to just kind of try to make the process a little bit smoother for me. And so right here, I'm just asking Alexa to like remind me of what the recipe is. And so, yeah, once she told me that, I got to work. I got to work. Oh, and while I'm looking at these lemons, let me tell y'all, if you can get a lemon tree and grow your own lemons, man, it makes such a difference. It makes such a difference. Now, just adding lemon into anything is like, it's just gonna elevate it, right? But having your own homegrown lemons and adding that into your recipes, mwah, chef's kiss. Absolutely delicious. Okay, now let me quit talking because I'm getting ready to tell y'all exactly what I put in here. Okay, so real quick, this recipe is about 2 cups of strawberries, frozen strawberries, 1.5 cups sugar, 1/4 cup of water, and 1 small lemon, juice from 1 small lemon. So we're gonna stir this up and put it over and cook it down over on the stove. Okay, now this is the part of the whole baking process where things are gonna get a little bit crazy. Things are moving pretty quickly here. So while my cakes are baking, like I said earlier, I work on other things. So right now I'm getting started on my buttercream, and at the same time, I'm still working on my filling. I'm checking on my cakes. We're going back and forth. We are juggling all the things, right? So yeah, this is just like part of running a home bakery and being efficient in your bakery, just working as seamlessly as possible. If things can be done at the same time, then get it done. Of course, don't burn anything down, please. But there are things that work really well doing them together, like me making my fillings and my buttercream while my cakes are baking up, cleaning while the cakes are baking. So I'm not waiting for the cakes to bake and then I have to clean all the dishes and then I have to make my filling and then after that I'm making my buttercream. No, we do it all at the same time, and what that does is that it reduces the amount of time that you're working, which can also kind of bring your prices down a little bit, because if you're just charging for each individual hour that you're making each individual item, then your prices are going to be much higher. But this is a way to bring those costs down for your customers. Now, that does not mean that you'll be losing money because you aren't working as many hours. No, as you increase in skill, then you can pay yourself more per hour. So you are still benefiting from being paid properly, but your customers are also benefiting from not having to pay for lack of experience. Now let's just take a moment and let's look at my cakes fresh out the oven. Seeing is believing, and wait until I flip them out though. Wait until I flip them out. Here I'm just showing you my whipped butter. If you're making the buttercream and your butter does not look like this, you're not doing it right. Okay, you're not doing it right. Now let me show you those cakes fresh out. Let me show you what they look like when we flip them out of these pans.
Merry go round, round with ya. In and out, then up and down, down, down. It's getting old, going around, round with ya. Think I need some solid ground. Merry go. Let's go. Let's hop. Ooh, that's cold. That's hot.
Yeah, you see it. You see it. They look so delicious. Yes, this is the dream cake, baby. The vanilla dream cake on deck. Okay, now let's get back to my dream cream buttercream. So I'm gonna be showing you the different stages of my buttercream. A lot of people, when they get to this stage, they think that this is the stage that they're supposed to stop. You do not stop here, okay? This is when we know everything's coming together. You know, things are going just right, okay? And now here is another visual of the buttercream once it enters into that next stage. But again, we just want to keep going and keep going. It's not ready yet, okay? This buttercream, it takes time. It takes time to get that silky, dreamy, smooth texture. Many people would also stop at this stage thinking that is done. And yes, this is a workable consistency. But as you can see, it's not completely smooth. All those air bubbles are not completely gone. And in the next couple of clips, you're going to be able to see just how much of a difference just giving it more time will make in the buttercream. But as you can see, like, my buttercream has smoothed out so much. So when you purchase my buttercream, and if you're making it and it doesn't look, it's like, look, let me show you. Look, if you're making it and you're like, oh, my buttercream doesn't come out like yours, you gotta let it run for some time, okay? You gotta wait until it gets to this stage. Okay, sometimes it'll get there faster, sometimes it'll take a little bit longer, but you just have to have some patience with it. So some of you probably stop at, like, when I showed you that first time, you probably stop right there and it's like, oh, it's full of bubbles, it's this, it's that, yada, yada. You didn't whip it long enough. You didn't let it mix long enough. You didn't let it mix long enough, or you might not have been mixing it on low. Because this is what it'll do over time. Let's raise this up a little bit. So, like, look at that. Y'all saw me make this. You saw me make this. Like, it's just about time. It's just about time. Look at that. Look at how much smoother that is. Look at how fewer air bubbles there are. So, no, it's not a trick. It's just time. It just needs time. Look at that. Yeah. So it just needs time. It just needs time. But also another thing to note is that the longer that you let it sit out, is going to start generating air bubbles, because all that air is going to start, I don't know, whatever the scientific, whatever it is, that's what's going to start happening. So if you just let it sit here and you don't do anything to it, it will start developing air bubbles. And so, and like kind of coagulating a little bit. And so you want to do what you need to do with it as soon as possible. So for me, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it here in this plastic wrap and I'm going to freeze it. This is the best way to store this buttercream. Like, yes, it does store very, very well. And the easiest way that I found is to put it onto this plastic wrap in like a flat sheet. If you do this, it's going to be much harder for it to come back down to room temperature and be ready for you to use it. But if you get it into a good state, and then put it on here, flatten it out, and then put it in the freezer. You'll just be able to take it out, let it sit up for a little bit, let it come back to room temperature, and then you're ready to go. Like, you should be able to use it directly out of here. Same thing if you put it in the containers, it's just gonna take longer for it all to come back to room temperature. But if you don't have time to wait, then you can just pop it back into your mixing bowl and then re-whip it again, right? So, but yeah, this is the easiest way that I found, and you'll see tomorrow when I take this out, you'll see, like, you'll see. I have a certain amount that I put into here. Just know that the more you put into one batch, the longer it's going to take to come to room temperature. The thicker you layer on the buttercream, the longer it's going to take to come to room temperature. You can wrap this multiple times. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I am gonna put it into freezer bags, and because it's not gonna be in my freezer for long. Let me see if I can remember what I was saying to y'all. So I was just talking about life and business and how I had this whole plan. Oh, yeah, I was saying that I was thankful, you know, that I had diversified my income, started diversifying my income years ago, because that has given me the freedom to make adjustments and shift in my business as needed. So like, I've been able to take off 1 month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, and still earn because I diversified my income. And I'm like just so thankful for that, and I'm so happy about that. And so this year, after my break last year, my whole plan was that I was gonna come back and I was gonna talk about diversifying your income. I had my whole plan and everything, because this is something that like I've always wanted to talk about since I started on YouTube in 2020. And after I saw all the possibilities, and so I was like, but like I've always like doubted myself and, you know, just decided not to share that information for whatever reason. But it's always been something that I've wanted to do. So I was finally like, yeah, this year I'm gonna do it. When I come back in 2024, this is what I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna share how you can diversify your income in many different ways, because it has been such a blessing to us and our family. And it's like, I want to share and help others do the same. But before I came back, I started seeing other people start posting about digital products. And that just kind of threw me for a loop, honestly, because the digital products that they were selling, I did not agree with. So they weren't true, actual digital products. Instead, they were doing this MRRPLR business, which is basically where you buy a course or a product off of someone else as is, and then you turn around and sell it to the next person. And then they buy it from you, and then they sell it to the next person, and so on and so forth. And then they sell it, and then they sell it, and then they sell it. So it's just basically almost like a pyramid scheme, or like an MLM situation, where it's like nobody's actually learning the skills inside of this. You're just reselling the same product over and over and over to people, right? And I just didn't really agree with that. And it was stressing me out. It was really stressing me out because I did not want to be grouped in that group of people. But also I was feeling like I was behind because they started before me. And so just long story short, I got really stressed about it. I didn't want to be grouped in that. I did not want to be a part of it. There were beefs that were breaking out on the internet, and I was like, this is not for me. So I just kind of held back a little bit. I did throw one product out there, you know, because it's like people want to do digital products, okay, but they don't have like any ideas for the digital products, and I didn't want them to go and do the MRR and PLR stuff. So I made a product with all of the digital product ideas that I have. Like, I have money making ideas. And, you know, and it's like, I can't do them all. So it's like, I might as well share it with everyone else. And whoever wants it, whoever needs it, you know, and just to give you inspiration, then you can do that. Okay. But yeah, so I was sharing my ideas, and that was like a digital product that I put out that's like about digital products. But I had this whole plan of like sharing, because there's a lot of different ways that you can diversify your income outside of just digital products. And I was going to share that. But I just decided not to, because again, I didn't want to be grouped into that group of people and like ruin my reputation and my name and get drugged into like all the beefs and stuff. So I decided not to. And that kind of really like has hindered me, because it's something that I am really passionate about. It is something that I want to talk about, but I just have to restructure and make like a new game plan for it. And that's part of it too. Like, even just in my business in general, I was so Instagram heavy these past few years, and I just don't want to do that anymore. Instagram like takes so much out of you, and it requires and demands so much of you, and it wants more than what I want to give. So my strategy in that, like, I've been working on shifting it. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, but like that, like that's part of like the issue for me too. But I am just gonna, you know, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah, I just say all of that to say that like things happen. You go through seasons, you go through phases, you learn, you level up, you know, all of that good stuff. So I'm not gonna put the dates on these simply because I already know like I'm using this tomorrow. So, and I don't have any other, well, I have some cookie butter buttercream in there, and I'm not gonna get that confused. So yes, this is my buttercream for tomorrow. I'm gonna put it in the freezer, let it chill, and then I'll take it out when it's time to start decorating. Well, a little bit before it's time to start decorating. But yeah. If y'all got any questions or anything, just put them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to try to answer. This isn't how I usually wrap my cakes. I'm just going with the flow at this point. But this is not how I would generally wrap my cakes. Once my cakes are wrapped, then I am going to put these in the freezer as well. And then I will take them out right before it's time for me to decorate my cakes. Yes, I do work with chilled cakes. It just makes the process so much easier when it comes to decorating the cakes. And then I am going to call it a day. This has been a much longer video than I believe I have ever done. But if you have stayed with me thus far, thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with me on a day of baking. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and then go ahead and consider checking out a few more of my videos while you're here. Next video is going to be me decorating this cake, and then we are going to price out this cake. So turn on your notifications and come back in a few days so you don't miss those videos. Until then, peace.